Sometimes the wrong train can lead you to the right station. The number 69 on the list, it's the Lunchbox. Welcome to Long Play Video. Welcome into Long Play Video, where we're running through my 100 favourite films of all time. We're down into the 60s. That's an achievement in itself.
It is. It's impressive.
Number 69, we have the Lunchbox.
Yeah.
Which I know that you're not going to know anything about, so I'm just gonna pass the video directly across.
Well, I'm presuming it's some kind of kids caper revolved around like school and some kind of lunchbox. So
Yeah, no, that's exactly right.
yeah, they're the kind of films that you normally watch. This is exactly what I'd be hoping it is. Let's see what it. Oh my God, this is definitely not what it is. I don't even think there's going to be a lunchbox in it. What is this, Andy? All right, let's go through this. I'll tell you what, over a third of the cover is just like praising for the film. So I'm not sure that bodes well. I always worry about that.
There's no explosions to feature, it has to be said.
Yeah. Well, if you don't if you have to put on, oh, this was the best film ever at such and such said, I feel like that's a concern because that means you're worried that people aren't going to watch it. So
Well,
that's what I'm worried.
I think if you thought it was the Lunchbox and it was going to be a kids caper, I feel like you need to maybe have a few quotes telling people what it's actually about.
Yeah, but I feel like you could ease people in. Like there could still be some comedy capers maybe on the front, and then instead of, I guess, yeah, loads of quotes. All right, well let's get into it then. Well, there's a lot of quotes. A third of the front cover is just two people looking at letters. So it looks like, is it a Bollywood film? Or is it just
Well, yeah,
an Indian film?
it's an Indian film
Yeah,
rather than
it's
well,
not
I mean,
not Bollywood.
how would you define
I would
Bollywood?
say more musical based.
Yeah, no,
Probably
it's
what
not.
I would. Yeah.
There's not a musical
Um.
number.
Okay. Well, that's disappointing. Um. So it's just two people looking at pieces of paper. There's no lunchbox in sight. So
No, there
that's
is. Yeah, no,
concerning.
there is. That's a tiffin box on the table.
Is it?
Well, you're
Oh.
thinking of a lunchbox
If
in a very Transformers on the
I'm
front of it.
This is an Andy lunchbox. I have, yeah, a Transformers lunchbox which contains my lunch. It's a box with lunch in it. Not like not this. This is like got your jewels in it. Were you taking like you had all like your expensive jewelry you take to school? Um, Adept and charming first feature, a perfect balance of tact and sentimentality. Oh, I mean, that isn't filling me with joy. Uh, a tasty surprise. Nice. Enormously warm and subtle. Oh my word. Yeah, it's a dream to watch. Well, yeah. How long is this film? I need to know this information.
Going straight to how long is this film? I don't know. I feel like don't lean into the character of that. You
Of
don't want any films that aren't just action adventures.
It's not that. It's more I'm just trying to venture away from Andy films. That's
There's been a
that's
run.
more what I'm after.
There's been a
I
run
tell
of
you
them.
what, you say a run. I mean, my God, it feels like a I don't know, a marathon. Not really. Um, all right. Well, I'll try to read the back, but this copy of the DVD is a little bit
A little bit shaky.
smudged. Yeah, obviously it's been taken out a lot. Film set in Mumbai revolves around a mistaken delivery, and then I can't really make out the rest. With loads of relationships, largely Is that a lonely widower close to retirement?
Yeah.
I mean, this is good because I now don't really know what the film's about either.
Yeah.
So it's made it more challenging. Okay, so it's going to be, this feels like this is the Indian version of The Visitor, which is one of my, oh no, is my most hated film on the list. So I was going to say it's one of mine. It's not, it's the bottom.
It's
So
at the bottom.
yeah, is this going to be an Indian version of that?
I mean, it has hallmarks, I would say, that are similar. But I think this is, I mean, obviously, this is higher up the list. So this is a better
Yeah,
film in my
yeah.
estimation.
How many Andes is it out of five?
I mean, I think it's probably a good four out of five Andes, I would say.
Okay. I
Uh,
think we said the visitor was 4.5 or 5, so that makes it a little bit better.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. So this is, I mean, no spoilers, but yeah, this is a
No.
character study, and it
Hmm.
is, yeah, a look at lives and the interplay of that. There are no explosions, car chases.
Unbelievable.
There's some witty one-liners.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is a character drama that I think has a really, really good script. So
Yeah.
yeah, it
Well,
won the Critics Week Viewers Choice Award at the Cannes Film Festival, known as the Grand Whale d'Or. Who knew
I
that
mean,
there
no
were
one,
so
no
many
one knows that.
awards at the
Yeah.
Cannes Film Festival? Uh,
Yeah.
it does feel a bit like they're making them up, obviously, after Looking for Eric won the Ecumenical Jury Prize at the Cannes Film Festival. They're just
They're definitely making them up. It's like Yojimbo. It's just like the comedy of the Oscars. It's just like they're making it up as they go along.
I think maybe
Yeah.
they're just finding Andy movies. Maybe I should go to the Cannes
Oh,
Film Festival. It feels like
oh my.
I feel like
Yes,
there's
you
more
should.
there's more Andy films at the Cannes Film Festival than any other film festival per capita.
But
So
for
the
sure.
percentage is higher.
For sure. I reckon we'll be operating about 80 to 90%. You should definitely go there and let me know how it is, and then I'll talk to you when you come back. Yeah.
You're not coming along? We could put a little stand on the beach,
No, no,
selling DVDs and videos. We could have
no.
a long play video pop-up stand. No?
You could do that. I'll be in Las Vegas. So, all right. So you like this film because it's character based. So yeah. So why is it, yeah, where it is on the list then? What's
Well,
what makes it better than The Visitor?
yeah, so the first time that I saw this, so it came out in 2013.
Yeah. Okay.
And then my wife actually saw something about it or saw an advert for it, and was like, "Oh, yeah, I really want to watch this film called The Lunchbox." So it's about the lunch delivery system in Mumbai, which
Yeah.
well, you presumably you don't know because I definitely didn't know before I watched this film,
No.
but like, so there's
No.
this whole delivery system in Mumbai that basically delivers lunches from sort of home into the office workers of Mumbai. And there's like millions upon
Hmm.
millions of these deliveries. And then they pick up sort of the lunchbox again and take it home. So the fact is the food is actually like warm because people don't
Yeah.
take in their lunch when they go in the morning, and these people like deliver it at lunchtime basically. And it's this entire system
Uh,
that is like worked out, and yeah, delivers like millions of these lunches, and the
yeah.
system is flawless, or is it? Um, so so
Comedy ensues. Yeah.
so so yeah, so she really wanted to watch this, and then we ended up watching actually in November of 2020. So we were in the second lockdown.
Oh yeah.
So I
Um,
would say that yeah, there is sort of a little bit of
yeah.
a shot of kind of yeah, loneliness and isolation, which may be lockdown
Yeah.
enhanced. Again, when I told my wife that I was doing this film, she said again she really liked it. It's one of her favorites. She rejected the fact it was an Andy film because of that, because she really likes it. Again,
Yeah.
Andy
She then
films have
after
got a bad rap.
what you don't know is she messaged me afterwards and went, "Ah, excellent. You're gonna have to watch another one of these films." So she's just secretly just making you feel
Gaslighting.
better. and just destroyed me. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she has always said that she doesn't like you very much, so maybe that's
This is
maybe.
it's just a real slow like taking me down just like one film at a time per week. Yeah,
But then yeah,
wow.
I recommended to my brother as part of our 20
Yeah.
50 films as well. He watched it. He enjoyed it. Thought it was good. I think maybe he gave it 8 out of 10.
Yeah. When did he
Um,
watch it? Did he watch it during lockdown?
no, I think he watched it a couple of years after,
Okay.
maybe 23 or yeah,
Yeah.
no,
Because I
maybe
feel
yeah,
like
120.
watching this during lockdown would boost it up like a point. I feel
Yeah,
like you'd be more likely would be like, oh yeah, that was a better film. Whereas I think post lockdown that maybe the extra point doesn't come through for
I
me
think,
anyway.
yeah, I think that may well be the case. I think it's quite
Yeah,
poignant in lockdown. But I think
yeah,
it is also it's a really good character based film that that has at its sort of central core. It is a romance. It is a romance film, but it's like
yeah,
a romance film, yeah, between two people who haven't met and sort of
yeah,
how your life goes and stuff. And obviously, as the cover shows, they're sending each other letters, and so you kind of hear the letters, and
yeah,
it's just a beautiful movie. It's really well crafted. I think the characters are really believable, and it's just yeah, a chance encounter, and kind of yeah, the story unfolds from there. But I think it's really
yeah,
well put together, and yeah, it is about isolation and loneliness, but I think they deal with it in a really nice way and a really thought-provoking way. So yeah,
yeah.
I really like it.
Well, I'm interested to see. I feel like somehow you seem to find romance films and not romantic comedies. They all seem to have the comedy removed from them. Like,
Yeah, this isn't a comedy. There's a
no,
few bits that
doesn't
are
sound like it, what you
yeah,
just said.
there are a few bits
Uh,
that are funny, but again,
oh, well,
it's
I'll look
great.
forward to them.
It's great seeing Mumbai. I think it shows sort of the city. It's really interesting to obviously see
So is
that
the
side of
highlight of
things.
this film going to be, I mean, I can watch the National Geographic. I mean, is that going to be the same as this film?
No, it's like, Mumbai is a character in the film. It's that type of thing. When people say like, "Oh, New York
Yeah.
is a character in the film."
Yeah, okay.
It's that. So there's
I
an
feel like
element.
you're the kind of person that would say, you know, when people say, yeah, I know
No,
exactly what you mean, Andy. Yeah,
I've only ever heard
I've got
you
a
say
friend.
that.
Yeah, I know exactly someone who says that. Yeah. All right.
There's a short cricket scene if I'm trying
Oh,
to sell it
okay.
to you.
Uh-oh. That could
Uh,
be bringing it back up.
yeah,
That's
I
good.
mean, yeah, street cricket. I think I maybe have raised your expectations a
Uh,
bit too much
If
there.
there's an hour and if there's an hour and 30 minutes of cricket, this film could be doing well.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think we're going to know who you're going to be after
Yeah.
watching it. You will have
Okay.
identified with the cricket players.
I
Um,
think I'm going to predict this is going to fall firmly in my bad section. That's the that's prediction I'm going with before having watched it.
I feel like your bad section is too narrow. I feel like I think you need to
I don't know.
you
I'd
need to
say it's
expand
expanding quite a lot.
the types of film. Outrageous.
Interestingly, actually, two of the last films that we've done have fallen into that bad section. Your bad section was actually going okay, and we've gone for a bit of a slump. We're going to need to bring it back at some point soon.
Yeah, well, we get to the popcorn movies, soon. The big
Yes,
blockbusters
that's
that
what we
you'll love.
want.
I feel like we shouldn't embrace the stereotypes that we're playing into here. That you only like action movies, and I like good movies.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's what the t-shirt says.
30
Oh,
thirty
amazing.
two episodes in, and we've got these characters we need to rail against.
Well, I mean, if I look at Life is Beautiful, Whiplash, The Artist, they're all like different type of films that aren't
Yeah,
action. They're
yeah.
all in my top section, although Knife and Day is in there, which is a good action film.
It's also a good action
Yeah.
film. I mean,
Yeah.
what was it? What was it about, say, Life is Beautiful
Mm.
that you like? Because this is, yeah, this is a character drama, and it is
Yeah.
slow.
Good
Like
question.
I think
Mm.
they use slowness and they use kind of silence to
Yeah.
show isolation, but that
Mm.
it's you know, it's not condoning it. Well, it's not like celebrating it. It's not.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that you really didn't like The Visitor doesn't bode well.
Doesn't bode well.
That has to be
No.
said.
Yeah, Life is Beautiful. I think the main character really brings it home for me. And just, I guess the message almost from that is that, there's those special people out there still in the world that, no matter what happens, they're always trying to bring some rays of sunshine to
Mm,
people. They're always trying to bring, those hopeful people, which, the world 100% needs them. And so I think, yeah, maybe that's why I liked Life is Beautiful. And obviously it's a very well told story as well.
mm.
I mean, yeah, if it's a good character driven story, and I don't mind a bit of romance. So, and yeah, I'd be keen to watch get an Indian film on the list. That'd be interesting to see.
Yeah.
And I know nothing about these lunchboxes. This could be a new
Uh,
business for me. This could
no,
be coming.
honestly, look it up. It's so impressive. Like the numbers are
Yeah.
just yeah, are just ridiculous. And yeah, yeah.
Oh, this could be a new thing. This episode might not get aired until I start my lunchbox business. So
It's I mean it's been running for like 100 years, so I'm not
yeah,
sure that
yeah.
you're.
I'm thinking more in like Western worlds rather than in India. I'm not thinking I'm going to go in and change the Indian lunchbox delivery system.
I feel like
I think that's probably gone.
you probably need a certain density that that
Yeah. Okay.
Sydney isn't gonna offer.
Yeah.
But you
Okay.
know, give it a go. Delivering
Mm,
food to people. Yeah, you know, I think it's an
yeah.
untapped market. I don't think there's many companies that have already thought about
Yeah.
that. So
No, exactly. If only
maybe
someone
you'll
had
be all
thought
right.
about this.
You know what?
Yeah.
I won't start advertising your position in the shop just yet. Let's have a look and see if it's going to be a good business model for you before I
All
let you
right.
go.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you can storm out of the shop. So
All right. Well, let's get it on. I want to see if this is going to be a good business idea.
yeah, you can settle down.
Yeah.
Turn your phone off. Don't dual screen with this. And
Yeah.
you've got to soak it all up. And yeah, we'll see you after the break. Okay, expectations have been set low. Have they been set low enough? Who knows? Uh, I mean, I think he's going to enjoy every one of these movies that we've had recently, and he's not liked any of them. So, a gambling man would say that he's not going to like this one either. I think every time I think up the predictions, I say that I think he'll like it because it's a really good film, because obviously it's one of my favorite films of all time. I'm going to stick with that. I think he's going to like this film out of nowhere. I think, yeah, it's such a sweet, beautiful, poetic film that maybe that does sound like he's not going to enjoy it now that I say that. But no, I'm gonna stick with it. I think he's going to like it, and he's going to be pleasantly surprised after a run of not liking too many of these movies. So yeah, let's see after the break.
It was really good actually. Really enjoyed it.
Hey,
It was sad, obviously. It's a sad film, but I really, really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. I thought this is almost like what The Visitors should have done. It's like the characters were good. The stories good. Like, I remember you saying at the start, there's not much talking and stuff, but those pauses and stuff work well because it's such
yeah,
a well written script, and the characters are really good, and the actors are really good.
yeah,
It just feels like a normal, like, yeah, this is real. This feels like they're not acting. It feels like this is this person's normal life, and
yeah.
you obviously do have gaps in normal life. So, Yeah, I was really impressed with it. I honestly, I was worried about sitting down for this one. I was like, oh, I mean, it's good though. Like one in every five Andy films is a home run. So
It's a cracker.
yeah, I mean, it's all or nothing. It's like it's a dungeon or it's a full-on home run.
I mean, I'd say that your energy levels for a bad Andy film, for the one word sentence, seem to be higher than when it's a good one. But yeah,
Yeah,
no, yeah, I love it. I watched it again, watching it
yeah,
again. Yeah, just absolutely, yeah, absolutely loved it. It's such a great
yeah.
film.
I did. I must say, at the start, I was thinking as I started watching, I was like, oh, I wonder what it because it was done. It was 2013 when it came out,
Yeah,
so I didn't. And this was one of the questions I was going to ask you when you think it's set. I mean, I presume it's around that time, but it was like it feels like they're quite, uh, like the roles of the two people was pretty it's like the old style sort of role of like the
yeah,
old guy just goes to work and constantly does work and the woman's just at home and she just does the cooking, and so I was like, oh no, is this going to be a bit like awkward? But actually, like, I remember thinking that at the start, and then the film ended and I was like, just took me on a journey that I didn't think about it again. And
yeah,
not to say that, I mean, I don't know whether that's something for us to discuss about the portrayal of, male and female roles in the world, but yeah, it just took me on a journey, and so I just really enjoyed it, and I didn't think about it again after that. I was like, they're both such interesting characters,
yeah,
both going through such different things in their lives that I was just like, what's next? What's she gonna do? What's he gonna do? Like, what's
yeah,
happening? When's the next
yeah,
Lunchbox coming out? Let's go.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, no, and it's so interesting, isn't it? Because that's the thing, because when you probably had this when you sort of watch it the first time, that it's so clever how they kind of do it that you expect him to be going home to her. You expect it almost to be
Yeah,
like a husband and wife, and kind
yeah,
of, and then the food comes and it's a bit like, oh, what's going on here? So then
yeah,
when her husband walks in,
yeah,
yeah, for the first time, you're just like, oh wait, what? Like
yeah,
it sets it up so because it follows the lunchbox
yeah,
like into him. He kind of just seems to receive it like, yeah, like without sort of there's not a big like, oh, what's this? This seems
yeah,
better.
exactly.
But
There's no
then
like
and then
surprise.
yeah, and then the husband comes in, and so you then kind of realize, oh, okay, actually that this was sort of messed up, and then he goes into the restaurant, which I think is like an
That's
amazing scene where
really
he's just
good.
like, you
Yeah,
guys like smashed it. What, like this is way better
yeah,
than you've ever done before, and they're like, oh, because obviously he
yeah,
again. Obviously, he's been in there and
uh,
complained a lot because they're like, "Oh, what
yeah.
does he want now?" And he's like, "No,
Where's
it's
he coming?
yeah, good one today."
Yeah, it's really good. I know. And then they set that gag up for the whole film, which is great because
Yeah,
they keep referencing the cauliflower throughout
yeah.
the whole thing, which is brilliant. I was like,
Yeah,
that's such a good setup.
yeah. And that's the thing that what I love about this movie is that it doesn't have the exposition to like explain stuff to you. There's so many things where they just let the
Yeah,
actors act and they just show you,
yeah.
and it's so good. Like when he goes over to the guy's house and he's sat in there like sweating and they're trying to give him more food and he's like, no, 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 I'm good,
Yeah,
I'm good.
yeah,
And it's like really clear that it's just super
yeah,
spicy, but they don't, at no point
yeah,
do they say, oh, it's a bit spicy for
yeah,
you, or he says, oh, it's a bit spicy. Like
yeah,
they just let you watch and like know these
yeah,
things. And I think that's
yeah. And they'd set
why
that
it's
up
so
earlier,
good.
right? With when she'd put in a little bit of spice, and
Yeah,
he'd felt it, so you knew he obviously wasn't great with spice. So they'd set it
yeah,
up nicely beforehand.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And which is also like in the letter back, he like yeah, he talks about the two bananas and like that he had two
yeah,
bananas to cool it down, and some people only have the two bananas. And then when the
yeah,
other guy like sits
yeah,
down with him for dinner for the first
yeah.
or for lunch for the first time, he only has two bananas. And yeah,
Yeah.
and so that's the thing. Like again, it just
That's
doesn't
crazy, isn't
explain a
it?
bunch of stuff to you. It just lets you it just lets
Yeah,
you, especially with his life and her life, there's so many sort of commonalities, but also like opposites. And they
yeah,
really highlight
yeah,
those well, like when she's with her kid, but then he's got the kids on the street that he doesn't like, and then the kid like
yeah,
closes the window because she's like, no, you didn't give us our ball back, so you're not allowed to watch a nice family scene.
yeah,
So that
yeah,
like yeah, it's just so well made and so well put together
yeah,
that it doesn't explain everything, and that's yeah, that's what I love
yeah.
about it.
Yeah, it was really good. I was going to ask you, do you think it's setting? Because I was wondering whether that's because obviously his job is very manual based, like there's no computers anywhere. And I don't know. I mean, obviously that could be the case, but did you think it's set in modern day, or and it's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
that
I
sort of
took
job
it.
just still, yeah,
Yeah, I took it to be
yeah,
contemporary, sort of, yeah, early 2010s
mm,
in Mumbai.
yeah.
Yeah,
God, can you imagine like everything's still on paper? What a nightmare.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that would be
Well, there's a
crazy.
whole bunch of companies that they're like that everywhere around the world now. We
Yeah,
just,
yeah. They're special companies owned by criminals that keep it all on paper.
but just
But
that I don't think they're tuning into a podcast to get their movie
yeah,
views.
yeah, no, exactly.
They're still
Well, I
reading
mean, obviously,
Empire.
yeah, yeah. I did love the personal chef upstairs. Definitely. I mean, this is an early break into who your favorite character was. But my God, the auntie just
Yeah,
smashes it out of the park, and you don't even see her. She's just
yeah.
by far the best character. I mean, the two main characters are very good, but she is absolutely great. And then when she's like, "Did he eat it? Did he eat it all? What? All of it? It's all gone." It's like this is great. She had all the best lines. She was very
Yeah.
funny. I enjoyed that. And then she's like, I can hear it by yeah, the first like steam of that pot. It wasn't right. You've not got the right amount of herbs or spices in that. You need to add a bit more of this. But yeah, that was cool. Yeah, and yeah, I think all of them were really good. The only thing I didn't like about it was, and this is I was a bit surprised about for me because I'm normally I'm happy to just let movies just run and I just like the escapism. So I don't feel like they always have to have a great ending,
Mm.
but I actually wanted the Hollywood ending at the end and they didn't have
Yeah.
it. And I was like, oh, it was so sad. And then they still didn't have it at the end. I was like, damn you. I mean, obviously that's reality, but I was like, I kind of needed that, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I don't want to say anything, but a lot of people who may have given the film 3 stars very much agree agree with that sentiment.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
it's because you get with the characters so much, and obviously you know that like he says, I saw you. You're a young person. You got dreams. I'm an old
yeah.
person.
So that's such a great scene.
Yeah, she's really good. Like her acting, she's probably like, oh, is that person? Her, and then he's just obviously just distraught because he's like, this is just not something that could work.
Yeah,
I can't, go somewhere with this young person who's got their dreams, and they're just going to be. I'm going to tell them about what life is really like. They're
yeah.
going to be shattered before they've gone through it.
No one buys yesterday's lottery ticket. Oh, what a
Yeah.
line. What a great
There
line.
was some really banging lines in this, I must admit. I thought this was really, and I don't know if the version you had, because obviously I was reading the subtitles, but he speaks in English quite a bit in
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Which I
Yeah.
think again is like it's really interesting. Like the bits
Mm.
where they flick into English, almost like is sort
Yeah.
of. I think and I believe that it's kind of true to life that yeah for like more formal
Yeah. Okay.
sort of things. But I think that it's a really interesting way, like where they flick
Interesting.
into English and where they don't. I mean, obviously
Yeah.
all the letters are actually in English, right? So the majority of the
Ah,
dialogue is actually in the majority of the dialogue is in the letters, and the letters are read
yeah.
in English. But again, that
Yeah.
which also sort of helps make the letters like sort of outside of the rest of the
Right.
film in
Yeah.
some ways, right?
Yeah.
Their
Yeah.
communication being
Yeah.
in English means that it's there's when he's sort of reading it and that the sad music and stuff is and he reads like hello and then the guy like pops
Yeah.
up at the lunch and he's like hi sir and then it's like super high
Yeah.
energy and he's having to like
And you're like,
hide the letter and
yeah.
stuff and but then
Uh,
that's in Hindi and that's and that's in another language so I think it's
yeah.
really
Okay.
good just how they use the English
Yeah. I
then
didn't
to like
notice that.
separate it out and that's the thing yeah
Yeah.
you don't notice it because
Yeah.
you're so invested in
Yeah.
the and yeah so the English like yeah brings the
Yeah.
letter the dialogue that they're having in the letters like yeah out of it
Yeah.
and when she I
Yeah.
mean the fact that she sends the lunchbox empty is just it's
Yeah.
just
Take
brilliant
that.
yeah
And like
yeah
it couldn't be cleaner. It's like
yeah
this is proper empty. Like have that, which is completely fair. Is that
yeah
like a
yeah
modern take of like ghosting on apps? That's
yeah
like yeah.
yeah
This is what you get. Maybe you
yeah
get to do
but
that.
still
Yeah.
sends it to like hope for a letter back right She could have like she could have
Mm,
just not sent anything,
true,
and then it would have been
true.
done. And for him to, but and then he says like,
Yeah,
yeah,
true.
I deserve that, and you're like, yes, you do deserve that.
Yeah,
You
you
could
totally
have just gone
deserve
up and
that.
let her make that
Yeah,
choice. But yeah,
yeah,
and because also like yeah, I think right at the beginning when the guy's like trying to sort of ingratiate himself, the young guy,
yeah.
and then they switch to English when he says, "My wife is dead." And again, it's like they like some of the
Uh,
absolute sort of killer lines are then in English, which is
yeah.
then like takes you out of the almost sort of
Just
the
to
noise
change
and
it.
energy of Mumbai, which I think yeah is
Yeah.
really super interesting.
So is that something you noticed more this time round? Because I mean, I noticed the English coming in and out, but I didn't notice it that it was on specific pieces. So is that something you
Yeah.
noticed more this time round?
Yeah, I think I was more aware of the
Yeah.
structure this time around.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I think yeah, like the first time you watch it, you are just swept up in the story.
Yeah.
And I think that's yeah, you are rooting for the characters. When she smells the
Yeah.
shirt and like you just know that he's having an affair because there's obviously
Oh,
perfume
yeah.
on the shirt. Again, like
Yeah. Yeah.
you don't have to say
Yeah.
anything. That's clear.
Yeah.
That's what she's done, and she yeah, it's just so brilliant. But yeah,
Yeah.
the yeah, like the structure itself is just yeah, it's just really great. Like when he first then he starts really caring when the lunch has been brought in, and he goes early for lunch, but then you hear the
Yeah.
news of the woman jumping with the little girl and like committing
Yeah.
suicide, and so he's like really scared that it's her, and then like the letter
Yeah.
is about that, and they've heard the same news story and stuff. It's the way that it all
Yeah.
fits together just
Yeah.
yeah means that it
That
rushes
was really
by.
well done.
Yeah,
Yeah, because you presume that it wasn't going to be them, but it was well done enough that you felt the pain that he felt, the
yeah,
anguish,
yeah,
and because and then also just anguish in general of my God, is that something that would happen where someone would commit
yeah,
suicide and I mean awful scenario.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, it was good. I didn't really think there was anything that dated the film. It's sort of set in time, and I mean, obviously, other than the man goes to work, the woman's in the kitchen, which she said at the start. But I didn't think there was anything within it that I felt that dated it as such.
Yeah, I mean, just very pre-COVID, I think, like, just sort
Oh
of
yeah, yeah,
almost
people,
yeah,
yeah,
people who, like, yeah, crowded trains.
people everywhere.
I was trying to find out sort of, yeah, what happened in the pandemic in Mumbai, and like, yeah, what, how
Hmm.
impact it was and stuff. And they had lockdowns
Yeah,
and things like that. But the coverage,
yeah,
the coverage of COVID, like in the press and stuff, in the UK especially what we
yeah,
didn't really hear what happened in a lot of sort of yeah non-Western places. It really made me think actually
yeah.
like there's a lot of places
Interesting.
where I don't know how the pandemic sort of went and what it
Yeah,
was. But
yeah.
yeah,
You
just
did.
sort of jarring just having that many people
Yeah,
sort of together. Like you
yeah.
still feel it now to a certain extent.
Yeah, and I think because obviously Australia's closer, and then there's people here that I knew who had relatives back in India, so
Yeah.
it was a bit more. You did hear about it a bit more here because obviously it's a
Okay.
bit closer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and obviously, like you said, that volume of people and they just didn't have the vaccine. It's kind of just like it's just awful, right? It's just something.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's the thing about a pandemic. It's not, yeah, it's not great, but yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't think there was anything really that sort of that dated it too much. I did think when he's talking to the guy and he's like, oh yeah, no, it's like the morning. It's like good morning. It's like morning, and he said, oh no, I'm going to lunch soon. He's like, yeah, yeah, come back at 4:45. I was like, what? This place sounds great. Is he going to lunch at 12 and coming back at 4:45? This is brilliant.
Right, and then he
I was like,
leaves. So he's done at
that's
4:45.
either, yeah. Yeah, that was either the biggest flex in the world of just like, yeah, yeah, come back in like 4 hours and then I'm still not going to talk to you, or the best lunch ever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I noticed that was quite good.
Well, I mean, the one thing that I didn't like, first of all,
Oh yeah,
on that last ball, he's very wide of off stump. I just the kid is playing.
I know. Got
He
to get
needs to
better.
sweep there. I think that was
Yeah,
very
yeah,
noticeable there. So
yeah.
yeah,
And in
but
India, they're very very good at cricket, very known for being good at cricket. That kid's not gonna. He's gonna be out there all day having to work on that sweep now.
And
Uh,
I also want to have a special mention for the photographer at the wedding, where he's like, okay,
yeah.
now everyone in. You're like, you don't.
Oh, that's so
There's no need for
good.
that. And then like the way again that the
There is
camera
no
just
need.
pans to like
Yeah,
include
at the end.
everyone on the right hand side
Yeah.
because there's only him on the left.
Oh.
I think that's
But that was really good, I thought, because it just shows you, because obviously Indian weddings are well known for having, so many people there.
yeah,
And it just showed you, it's like, well, that's what we think from a sort of Western view of it.
yeah,
But actually, like, he's right. Like,
yeah.
he's an
There's
orphan, so he
orphans. Yeah,
definitely wouldn't have more people. And there would be
yeah,
people that wouldn't necessarily have loads of people. We just always think, oh, they'd always have 500 people at a wedding. But
yeah,
actually,
yeah,
it's like, well, no, no, not everyone does have that. And
yeah.
it must be quite
Yeah.
challenging.
Yeah, and that I
Yeah.
do think that the film does like play with and kind of challenge some of the assumptions of what a Bollywood
Mm.
movie is, especially
Yeah.
with the silences and like making it like there is music
Yeah.
and there is a lot of life in it, but then it sort of really kind of compares that to moments of silence, which I think is why I
Yeah.
like it so much, is just it sort of plays with that form and structure and it just does it to such an amazing
Yeah.
such an amazing extent. So
Yeah. It's one of those films, isn't it? It's like I know it depends on like where you come down on these films. It's like Drive or I guess Mad Max or Baby Driver. It's like the volume of dialogue in a film. Sometimes you don't need it if you've got good
yeah,
actors, you've got really good writing and good characters that actually what they do say is so poignant that actually you don't need much more. And
yeah,
like the silences never felt like silences, I
yeah,
think, in the film. I never felt like it didn't ever feel at any point like it was dragging for me.
yeah,
I was completely engaged. They've got the light relief of the auntie, which was good. Yeah, I just think the characters they've thought, and obviously the guy that's taking over from him
yeah,
at the start, you're like, he's so annoying. Will you go away? And then you're like, oh, he's an orphan. Now we have to feel bad for him. But then you're like, yeah, you understand actually why he's so involved because he's like, I need to do well because this is me. This is what I
yeah,
have. This is what I have to do. And so you're
yeah,
like, so yeah, get it a bit more now. Yeah, that's
yeah, yeah,
why you're trying to be nice to him because you need to do a good job because you need this job.
yeah, yeah. And
Um,
that's
yeah,
trying to sort of get into the middle class and kind of rise up on his
yeah,
own basically and I mean that's why he's so
yeah.
happy that he's not going to retire because he knows he's going to get the sack if he's just left by himself.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
love
when
I love that
like
scene as
everything's
well
gone
when
wrong.
he's like these
Yeah.
files smell of onions and garlic and he's like, oh, that's weird, and it's like he
Yeah.
like goes to smell them but then he's like, no, I
Yeah.
won't smell them because then that he's just like, oh yeah, that's a
Yeah.
funny one.
Yeah, no, don't know why that's the case. He was really good. His acting
Yeah,
was so good. I reckon he's been in stuff before now. I've seen him in stuff
yeah,
before, but I couldn't remember what. But he was very good.
yeah,
I thought he portrayed his role so well. And then also, this is what I thought was good about this versus like The Visitor. I mean, I know that they are different films and obviously covering different ideas, but the idea of him getting old or sorry, the idea is actually of him seeing himself as old
yeah,
because you could argue in society he'd already be classed as old because he's past a certain age,
yeah,
but it's like he doesn't necessarily see himself as old, but all of a sudden he did. Like you said, they don't frighten your face, but they're like when
yeah,
people start saying to him, oh, would you like to sit down on the train,
yeah,
because they think this is like an old man who needs to sit down,
yeah,
and he
yeah,
suddenly starts realizing it all, and you're like, oh yeah, wow. That day when you suddenly realize
yeah,
that you feel old, God, that must be awful. I hope
yeah.
I never reach that day. Yeah.
But that's the thing, isn't it? And he says, he goes into the bathroom and he said it smells
Yeah.
like it used to when
Yeah,
my
my granddad.
grandfather was out of it. And like, when did I become old?
Um,
Was it this morning or was it many mornings ago?
yeah,
It's just
great
such
line. Yeah.
such a great letter. Um,
I feel like you should get that tattooed on your arm. How do we make that happen? Yeah. Yeah.
there's a lot of different lines from the book
Yeah.
so far I'll be like in Prison Break. I just have all of the
All
lines
right.
tattooed
Yeah.
everywhere.
You get them all. what we'll do is we'll put them all together. We'll put them on the website, and then we'll get people to vote, like voting at Boatface. Everyone can vote on Twitter on what one you should get.
Okay,
Uh,
at the end of the 100, we'll tally
yeah,
them up, and I'll get the winning quote tattooed onto me. Yeah, yeah, no, that'd be
love
great.
it.
I'm sure
Yeah, that
my
sounds like a
wife's
great
one of
one.
the people that listens to this pod, so I think
Yeah,
I'll definitely know
yeah.
when she gets to this point because she might have some words.
She'll be the first one to put an answer in. She'll be like, yeah, definitely this one. Get this one on there. Oh, good.
How did you describe it to the aliens?
Yes. So I said, in a modern day, two people try to build connections through food and written word.
Oh,
So yeah, I struggled with making this one funny because
yeah.
yeah, I liked it and I was like, oh, I couldn't change the genre either. I was like, no, I
Yeah,
don't want to see this as any other film. It's not going to work. It wouldn't be right.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah,
what about you with your continual dialogue with the aliens?
yeah.
What have they got in store today?
So I went with, if you want to communicate well, writing words down on a letter is the best way to actually say what you mean. Because I feel like they're going to come up,
Yeah,
they're going to have some sort of telepathic way, but actually, just send
yeah,
us, pop a letter in the post, aliens, and
yeah,
that will
yeah,
actually,
yeah,
that will put
yeah.
some thought into it. Get a
You think they'll
nice
do
letter.
that?
Yeah,
Yeah, they'll
yeah.
send it to the White House. We're here to destroy you. But they've written it down, so you
Yeah.
know,
Well, it gives
it's
us
in a
a bit of
nice way.
time. If they do it
Yeah,
telepathically, how are we supposed to know?
yeah,
So
yeah. No, it's too much, too soon. We can't. We're not ready for that. Just ease it in. Yeah,
we're trying to get them focused on drumming, swords, and letters. We're just
yeah.
doing anything to slow them down at this stage.
And balls. Remember, they need to realize how important balls are to mankind. And they had cricket balls here, so you know
Yeah, exactly.
it's
Yeah. They
it
lost it, and
continues.
yeah, they weren't very happy. If they were playing in front of the balcony and they managed to get the ball into the balcony, that must have been a
Yeah.
top edge. Are you thinking? Yeah, it must have been a
Oh, yeah,
difficult
it
one.
probably wasn't doing like a reverse
A
whatever they
reverse
call it,
sweep.
reverse,
Yeah,
yeah, or reverse slog. But
yeah.
yeah, probably a top edge, I reckon.
Yeah, it's right. I mean,
Yeah.
really, we should have had
That
Carla
should be
in
on
on
the
this one
outtakes.
as
Yeah.
because
Oh,
this is a sports movie in some
yeah.
ways.
I think yeah. I reckon she'd like this as well. Maybe we'll
Yeah.
do like a bonus episode. We'll get that on the Instagram as well. Which film should we rewatch with Carla? We'll get that put that poll going. What
We're all
what should
about
be
audience
happening?
participation, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the question's concerned,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, what do we live for? That she says in the
Yeah.
first like longer letter, I think is
Yeah.
yeah, it's just amazing, and I think that's the question of the film, which
Yeah.
yeah, I just think is so effective all the way through.
And it was good with because obviously they have that scene with her mum and obviously her dad, and
Yeah,
then she sort of goes realizing and thinking because she kind of resigned herself to the fact that she's just going to stay with her husband and he's obviously cheating on her, and that's
yeah,
just what's going to happen.
yeah,
And then after that, with the when her mum tells her about it, and she's kind of like, God, no, I can't. I've still got so much of my life left. I can't just
yeah,
stay and do this. This is ridiculous.
yeah,
Um, so yeah,
yeah,
that definitely comes through. That
yeah.
reminded me actually, there's one point when he says in the letter, which is probably something that dates it, where she tells him about her husband. And he was like, "Oh, you're having troubles. Well, why don't you have a kid? Sometimes a kid helps." And
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh my God, that's horrifically terrible advice.
Have another
That is
child.
definitely
That
not a
always
good
helps.
idea." Yeah, exactly. Why don't you just entrap him? There's better ideas. Yeah, no, I don't think you should be. A resolution to a bad relationship is not a child.
Yeah,
Definitely not.
yeah. I
But
think I mean, with that point as well, I don't know how long after your husband dies you should tell your daughter that you were disgusted by him, but I feel like within the hour might be a bit harsh. I think so.
yeah, well, time waits for no one. You gotta get on with these things. So
Yeah,
yeah, I know. It's just a different world, though, isn't it? As well. Maybe it's just. I mean, I've not been to India, so I don't know. Maybe it's just a bit more like just get on with stuff. Don't be
yeah,
hang around.
yeah. But again, like yeah, that scene is so poignant because of that, because she thinks what it brings out it is that exactly as you say, like she said, okay, well he hasn't turned up, so therefore like I'm just gonna stay and not do anything. And then that scene with her mum,
Yeah.
and she's like, no, I
Yeah.
I have agency in my life, I can do this. And so then she goes, and again
Yeah.
she goes in. I actually quite like the ending because it makes you, again, kind of makes you do the work. But she goes in
Yeah.
and she's going to confront him and like turn up and be like, "Look, I'm
Yeah.
going. Are you
Oh,
coming?"
yes.
And then walks
Yes.
in, and then
And you think it's
it's
gonna
the
be
other
there?
guy. Yeah.
Oh,
But then like because he knows her, like he knows who it
yeah.
is, and
Yeah. Yeah.
because he's had the connection with the guy,
Yeah.
then obviously like she now has his address. So like there's this sort of crack in the
Yeah.
window almost, that now at least she could find him, and she could, obviously she narrates the letter and she says, well, maybe I'll send this, maybe I won't. But then
Yeah.
he sees the old guy on the train and it's like, oh, actually, I don't have to retire and be old. Like there is actually,
Yeah.
like there is
Yeah.
life. And so
Exactly.
then he goes back on the train to find her. And yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah.
always really interesting where a story starts and ends, because obviously, with
Yeah.
life, there's always more before and after. And I think what this
Yeah. That's
film
true.
does really well is like, yeah, it doesn't spoon feed you. Like it is that, well,
Yeah.
do you think that she
Yeah.
leaves
Did they get
before
together?
he
Yeah.
finds, before he turns
Yeah.
up, or like, yeah, does he turn up and then they're together and they
Yeah.
just leave? And it's so well done because of
Yeah.
that, because it's up to you. And that's the nice thing about it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Because he's in like the train or the van with the delivery guys, isn't he?
Yeah,
So you
exactly.
know
Yeah,
that,
he's tracking
he's
her
going to
down.
see
Yeah.
her.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just whether she's still there.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no, I agree. I think that was good. And yeah, you're right. It does make sense. It probably is a good ending. It was just they take you on the journey so
Yeah.
much that
Yeah. That you really
I
want
wanted
it.
them. And the thing is, I think what they do really well, actually, what actually they do fantastically well in this film is, I don't think, even if they had got together, I wouldn't see it as a romance. I
Mm.
would have seen it more as a friendship, and they'd have been very, very close friends. I wouldn't have seen that they had been together. He would have like helped her out with the child and stuff. That's
Yeah.
how I felt I would have seen it. It wouldn't have been that they would have got together.
Yeah.
And I think they do a great job in doing that, because otherwise it could seem like super creepy.
Yeah. Like
But
predatory and stuff. Yeah. No, for sure.
yeah, exactly. So I think they do a great job in that. Yeah, I think that was really good. I was really impressed with that. But yeah, I put in a day when we have the most people on the planet, humans have never been lonelier.
Mm.
So I think COVID's definitely exacerbated that significantly, and all the stats now show that. And it's a shame. It does feel like that way. We've got so much, we've advanced so much, and the whole point of computers was that we were supposed to work less. The whole point of AI is going to be that we work less, and it just never happens, and will
Yeah.
never happen. And all that's happened is we're on our phones more. With this, we think we're connected because we're on our phones connecting to people, but we're not really, are we?
Yeah.
They say, it's supposed to be, I think, eye contact, and that's just something else. That's really what we need as humans. And yeah, obviously you don't get that from your phone. So that
Yeah.
was for me. I thought, yeah, that was a shame. And especially, obviously they pick India. Obviously, it's an Indian film, but India's obviously, and Mumbai, like one of the busiest places in the world, which was great because it's so, and like obviously he's always trapped on the train. There's billions of people everywhere,
Yeah.
and yet they both are,
Yeah.
feel very
Lonely.
isolated. So I thought
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
really, got that through very well. So I thought that was a good part. But yeah,
Yeah.
do you think you could change it to a different genre at all? I
No,
wasn't I
no,
wasn't
I
sure
think,
about that.
yeah, I think it's a perfect little
Yeah,
movie. I think it's, yeah, so well done. I think the
yeah,
characters are super good in it. I wouldn't change any of that. I think it's just kind
yeah,
of one of those like complete stories that, I recommended to someone at the weekend because we were talking about
oh
something
nice,
else, and I was just
yeah,
like, oh, I've just watched this film. You have to watch it.
yeah.
It's so good. So I think it is definitely a sort of,
Oh nice.
hidden gem.
More listeners to the podcast. Good work, well done.
There's
Yeah.
there's things called Andy movies. They're really good. I don't know.
Oh, look at you trying to repurpose it. Like, be careful. I'll get them to watch The Visitor, and I'll be like, oh my God, what has happened? Yeah, what about like the vertical coffin? Have you ever heard of that before?
Yeah, well,
Or
yeah,
burial cot? I
yeah,
was
not,
like,
yeah, not obviously. Yeah, I heard when I watched it the first time, but yeah, no, that doesn't sound, yeah, that doesn't sound good.
yeah, that was great. Obviously, it gives you that line as well where he said, "Oh, yeah, I've spent my whole life standing
Yeah,
on trains and buses, and now I'll even have to stand when I'm dead."
yeah,
That was a
yeah,
great line, but yeah, that was random.
yeah.
Favorite character then was I mean, I hard push to get past Auntie.
You're
I
going
mean,
for Auntie.
yeah,
I think it's brilliant when she
yeah,
sends down the chilies because he's just like
yeah,
she explains everything and then he's like there was a bit too
yeah,
much salt. And you're
yeah.
just like what an unbelievable move. Like
Oh,
this person's like
yeah,
you've eaten my food. Like why
yeah,
have you done that? And then she sends the chilies and
yeah,
he's like, okay, I take your point.
yeah, yeah,
Actually,
yeah.
I'll apologize for that. Thank you. It was a bit spicy. Yeah, no, she's
Yeah.
great. Like, yeah, just a
Mm.
great, yeah, and also because you never
Yeah.
see her, it really kind
Yes,
of
it
shows
helps.
the loneliness and isolation of
Yeah.
the character as well, right? Because you know that's her
Yeah.
only confidant, and yet she never
Yeah.
sees her, and so like yeah, she does have
Yeah.
you know someone that she talks to, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's so good. And I do, yeah, I do like the guy sort of replacing him as well because as you say, like his
Yeah.
journey's really good as well, where
Yeah.
you kind of you
Yeah.
understand him much more, and he's so annoying at the start. And then like
Yeah.
when like the first time he sits down and he's like, no, like no, I can't take your food.
Yeah.
And then like by the second time he sort of sits down and he's just like,
Yeah.
oh, so
Yeah.
yeah, you've got some
Yeah.
food. Oh yeah, no, oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I'll have some.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, yeah, I'll get involved. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, he was good. They developed his character well, and even the bit I didn't even obviously they spoon feed you that a little bit because I didn't catch it. But when he does the like the saying from his mum,
Yeah,
obviously the one that resonates through the film, the latter half of
yeah,
the film of the wrong train can take you to the right station,
yeah,
and he says, "Oh, my mum told me that," and then he goes, "Well, hold on, weren't you an orphan?" And he's like. Oh yeah, I just tell people that because they feel more comfortable about me saying something like that to them. And you're like, God, yeah, that's so right.
yeah,
And he says at the time, doesn't he? He said, yeah, you're right. And you're like, yeah, that
yeah,
is so right. And you're like, God, that's I imagine people must do that if you're an orphan. I mean, not everyone, but yeah, that was a telling point where he's even having to, I really sort of resonated with that because I was thinking, yeah, I'm having to adapt my current life is different to, I guess, the societal path that society, decides that the so-called normal person goes down.
yeah,
And I was like, yeah, okay, I sort of resonate with that a bit. I was like, yeah, he's having to compensate and work, rounds because
yeah,
society accepts only certain things. And so he was like, oh yeah, people just if I keep telling them I'm North and
yeah,
it's not good. It's easy just to make up that my mum said this. So
yeah,
yeah, that was very poignant. But yeah,
yeah,
any
yeah.
other good lines that you had?
No, I think yeah, I think those. I think we've covered yeah most of them. I love when he's talking
Yeah,
about the TV and like yeah, he sort of wants to see her reflection, his wife's
yeah,
reflection, and said, "Oh yeah, I wish I had kept on looking back then." I think that again, like all of the
yeah,
letters are
yeah,
just so well done. Um,
yeah.
and I do yeah,
He
no
has some
one
great lines, doesn't he?
yeah, no one buys yesterday's lottery ticket is yeah,
Yeah,
was a great one. So
that was a good one. He had another one as well. So there are too many people, and everyone wants what the others have. And
yeah,
yeah, I was like, yeah, that's very true.
yeah.
We're always comparing ourselves to others, aren't we?
Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah,
again,
yeah,
just
good.
the last part that well, I love it when like the guy sits down and then finds the letter,
Yeah,
and he's oh
yes.
like and then like he's
Oh,
like oh I don't this is weird like and
yeah,
just
yeah,
his facial expressions is just so and then he like
yeah,
puts it into his pocket because it's like oh
yeah,
why is there a letter yeah that's so weird shall I I'll throw it no you know what I'll just keep it and then he like puts
yeah,
it in his
yeah.
desk and I think
He's
that
so good.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's an amazing performance from him. Yeah,
yeah,
so 3-star reviews. Again, there's lots of
yeah.
5-star reviews
Let's bang
for
them
this
out.
movie.
Yeah,
So some of the 3-star reviews. I mean, but everyone hates the ending basically, because
yeah,
everyone wants the resolution.
Yeah.
The one
I
one
liked your
person,
description, though. I think that's right. You're right. Life is a journey, and it's when does the movie start and finish? And you're right. We don't know. They might have met. They might not.
yeah,
So left it
yeah,
open. So I think you're
yeah.
right. I feel better about it now you've said that.
They definitely
I,
did.
it
He
felt I
got
felt
there.
I felt super sad at the end, but I was like, oh, you've taken me down this journey too far. How can they not meet?
No, yeah, in my head, they get together in the end.
They meet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they
Who
said,
else?
yeah, someone said, I'm one of those people who like the ending to tie everything up. These open-ended
Yeah.
endings that appeal to the more artistic types where viewers speculate what happened just strike me
Yeah.
as
Wow.
lazy or unfinished. If it was not for this
Yeah.
ending, I
Wow.
would definitely have given this movie 4 stars. So actually only 1 star
Wow.
more. So it wasn't like it went from a
Wow.
5 star to a 3 star.
Yeah. Well, I
Um,
like that. I like that they're like, we're not giving you five. You got to work really hard to get
yeah.
five.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone said, seen better films on India, enjoyed the delivery of Lunchbox's system. And again, yeah,
Brilliant.
maybe missing
Yeah.
missing the point of that as
Random.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
out of all of the films I've seen about Lunchbox delivery system, this is the best. That person is
I mean, there
almost
were
saying.
no He-Man lunchboxes, so that was a little bit disappointed. But I didn't mind. I like the guy at the end as well, the delivery guy, when he's like, yeah, Harvard have come out here
Yeah,
and the King of
yeah,
England, so it's
yeah,
not wrong. And you're like,
yeah.
that doesn't mean that everything would be perfect.
Yeah, he's just like, no, that just can't happen.
Great.
She's like, yeah, but I'm telling you it's
Yeah.
happened. He's like, yeah, but it can't because Harvard have
Yeah.
told us that
Yeah.
it can't. And you're like, no, I
Yeah.
think it still can. And then
Yeah.
yeah, so someone else says the story is a little slow, but the ending is the biggest letdown. Flat. It's like they ran out of film and thought, oh, that will
Oh,
be
random.
okay. But that's not how I would have portrayed it. Well, you know what? You go and make a film and
That, yeah.
see how you do. So
That feels like a 1 or 2 star review. That doesn't feel
yeah,
like there was no positives in that at all. It's not like they were confused.
yeah.
I feel like Amazon need to write like a little like description at the start of the review section so people understand what the difference is between 1, 3, and 5.
What a review actually is. It's completely
What reviews are?
subjective. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it's good. Do you
It's
think it would
true.
do better or worse if it came out today?
I think it would do better. I think because I think there's been a lot post-COVID, there's been a lot more non-English speaking films and TV series that have done
Mm,
better. And what's it, Squid Games, I think, was obviously a huge success. So I feel like the Western world would be more open to a non-English film. So I think it would do better. That was
yeah,
my rationale. What about you?
yeah. I think maybe about the same. I think I mean, because it's pre-COVID, I think it's got something different to say. But I think kind of
Yeah,
the loneliness and yeah, I
yeah,
think that's sort of yeah, that's still on point. Quite
yeah,
poignant
yeah, for sure.
for the world as it is at the moment. What did you come up with for the algo?
So I had a couple. I think I did pretty well on this. I was quite happy with myself getting these. I think these are reasonable. Lost in translation because you've
Mm,
got like the younger girl, older guy.
yeah.
So and obviously in a different country. And the Secret Life of Walter Mitty. Don't know if you've
Mm,
seen that with
yeah.
Ben
Ben
Stiller.
Stiller. Yeah.
So I was pretty happy with them. I had a little fist pump to myself. Great use.
Yeah,
What
well,
about you?
yeah, the AI will go for English movies that the AI will have come up with. So
Yeah.
it did have Lost in Translation, Bridges of
Oh,
Madison
okay.
County, About
Hmm.
Schmidt, which that's sort of
Yeah. Jack Nicholson.
very tonally different. And then the Exotic Marigold Hotel, which I felt
Oh,
like
no.
let
Yeah.
it down a bit. But Lost in Translation, I think is I
Pretty much on
think
point.
I think because it's tonally, I think it's pretty similar. Obviously
Hmm.
both are shot very well, both are
Yeah.
very really good structurally and stuff like that. So I think we've got to give that to the AI because
Yeah.
especially as it's
Yeah.
not just a film set in India, which is basically what I thought the
True.
AI would be like. So I
Yeah.
think that's one back for the AI. So we're now at
Oh,
1614. It's
it's a resurgence, isn't it?
yeah, the AI's done well with that
I,
one. So
They're taking over. It's the
Yeah.
beginning. We called it here first. Exclusive. They're coming. All right, so it's on the list. Is it staying where it is? Is it going higher? What's the go?
No, yeah, I really like this movie, and so I think it's
Yeah,
yeah. I was thinking how high it could
yeah,
get, and I thought
yeah,
at first maybe even like top 20,
yeah.
and
Nice.
then I
I think
decided
I'm with you on that.
that yeah, no, it wouldn't quite be top 20.
Yeah,
So I've put it in at 27, which is
yeah. Okay.
just a couple of after Beast of the
Yeah,
Southern Wild, which I moved up the most so
yeah.
far.
That
But
was
yeah,
your peak age, as I remember, 27.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
when I had to retire from international football. Uh, yeah, so yeah, I think yeah, 27 for me. I just think it's a brilliant movie. I think everyone should watch
yeah.
it. I just think it's so yeah, it's
It
just
was
so
very
so
good.
great to watch. So
I've even thought during this podcast, because I put it on my list, I'm even thinking during this podcast now, because the ending was the only thing I think that pulled it down a bit for me. I'm now thinking about moving it up even further than where I had it. Just
oof.
this podcast, like a live change. Like, who would have thought it? Someone put some EastEnders music in this podcast.
We'll edit in
Um,
some dramatic music. So where are you putting it? Live live and
so
in action.
I've got it. I've got it in the good section. So originally at the start of the pod, I had it as number 6, so just below Kubo and just above The Big Short. But I might move it up further. I do need to rejig mine a little bit actually, because I've got Limitless in at number 4, and I think actually now that needs to go down a bit. So I don't know. This might go in at number 4.
Oof.
Yeah,
Top
I
five
mean,
movie.
I know. I mean, I did love Kubo as well though. But yeah, it's definitely right up there. I really, really enjoyed this. I
Yeah.
mean, it was sad, but great character portrayal, great actors, great story, and food. What more can you want in life?
Yeah. Boom. There we go. Awesome.
Done.
Well, yeah, finally finally an Andy movie that that as we said before before the
Ooh.
jump, when I was like, oh, it's a bit of an Andy movie, and my wife and brother were
Yeah,
like, no, I really like this movie. So yeah, no, it's gone. And now we go into a little bit sort of more mainstream.
oh
You'll
yeah,
you'll be glad. I
yeah,
funnily enough, from a point of view of what the story is about, I think next week, in some ways, is a bit similar, dealing with loneliness,
yeah, yeah,
and kind of yeah, a bit of alienation and getting a bit older.
yeah,
But the quote for it maybe says that the tone isn't quite the same.
yeah.
Are you Steve Jobs? Wait, are you billionaire owner of Apple Computers? No? Then you have no right to wear New Balance sneakers ever.
I can't wait for this film. I love this film. This is
Well,
great.
thank you as ever to Tom Evans for the theme song. You can find us on Instagram at Long Play Video, and we'll see you next week.